Let's check in on the commemoration, where we'll hear Marcella Starr, the chairwoman of the Wyoming Monument Association.
I had to think about what I should speak about. I was going through my collection of booklets for previous monument events. There were two booklets that particularly caught my attention, and perhaps yours. The booklet I chose is entitled The Order of Exercises for the Centennial Anniversary of the Battle and Massacre of Wyoming from 1878. I would have brought a copy in it, but it's in very fragile condition. And so I very carefully copied it and worked from the copy not to destroy the book. If you decided to attend that particular event, this is what you would have been subjected to. The booklet was divided into 3 orders of exercises. July 3rd at the Monument Grounds in Wyoming, July 4th at Wilkes-Barre, and lastly July 5th in Wilkes-Barre, all in 1878. July 3rd, 1878, you would assemble at 44 at 8 a.m. Now, if I were involved, I would probably still be in my jammies. Then you march to the Monument Grounds for the exercise to begin at 9 a.m. At 9 a.m., the Wyoming artillerists fired a salute of 13 guns from 40 Fort. I'm just going to tell you about the events that took place. I'm not going to name a lot of participants because we would be here all day. There were 9 parts that were part of the exercise. It began with music from the band, followed by a prayer. Then came the opening and reception address, an original ode by the band, and chorus. Then addresses by 2 gentlemen, then a historical address by Steuben Jenkins, Esquire, a poem, and then the Golden Crown Overture by the band. Now you would think that at this point, the person speaking, luckily not me, would say that this ends my session. But oh no, at this point we take an intermission for dinner and we reassemble at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. the program reconvenes with a musical selection, a prayer, another original ode, an address by the Reverend William P. Abbott, and another original ode. I honestly don't know what an original ode is. All this was followed by an address by President Rutherford B. Hayes and other distinguished guests, music by the chorus, band, and audience. And lastly for the day, benediction by Reverend E. H. Snowden. At this time, you wake up those who have fallen asleep and head home because you have another big day on July 4th. July 4th, 1878 started with a salute of 100 guns by the battery of Wyoming artillerists under the direction of Captain Parker. Can you imagine if you were not aware of this event, which many people were not, and were awakened by the gunfire? I know I would have bolted out of the bed like an M80 rocket. At this point, I'm going to consolidate the planning that went on from this point. It was quite intricate. After the formation of the procession, Captain Parker would place 1 gun of his battery in position to be fired as a signal of movement. At 11 a.m., a single gun would be fired, and the procession followed another diverse route by River Street. At the Wyoming Valley Hotel, they passed in front of Their Excellencies, the President of the United States, and His Excellency, the Governor of Pennsylvania, and then dismissed. At that point in time, they did refer to the President, Vice President, and Governors as Their Excellency. Plentiful supplies of ice water were furnished along the whole route of the procession. The people of the city were respectfully requested to decorate their dwellings. At 4 p.m. on July 4th, There was music, a reading of the entire Declaration of Independence, and very importantly, speeches from His Excellency. That is how he was addressed in the booklet. The President of the United States. Again, His Excellency, the Governor of Pennsylvania, and several others. I'm afraid by that time you have heard a lot of snoring. You might be interested to know that 3 presidents have visited the monument. Rutherford B. Hayes, Theodore Roosevelt, and Jimmy Carter, which is quite a story. At 6 p.m., if water permitted, there was to be a regatta, and at 8:30 p.m., fireworks display on River Street above Market. Citizens were requested to illuminate their homes for the evening. July 5th, a grand regatta took place on the Susquehanna. There were 11 crews entered from various cities. There were pair-oared contests between the rowers from the various crews. There was single scull races between celebrated oarsmen from Pennsylvania and the West. A scrub race of home crews were open to all. The whole event concluded with a brilliant aquatic tournament in tubs. I don't know if that means the tubs up by the Woodlands or if they were in tubs. That's what it said in the book. And it was free to all. Bring your own tub. You are welcome to nudge any of those who may have nodded off by now, and believe me, I will not be offended. I would like to thank the officers of the Wyoming Monument Association for their help and support throughout the year. The Commemorative Association has provided clean, sanitary porta potties for your use. And I must first thank my husband, Bill, who is always there for me. Like Marion, we're going to be celebrating 53 years of marriage. And we're both still alive to talk about it. I must add that Marion and Tom Zarnowski, and thank them for their incredible work in getting the monument cleaned out, for being open to the public, getting a sign put up, notifying the public of this upcoming event, and many, many other deeds associated with the presentation. The association genuinely thanks Jim and Joyce Scribola for donating our new flag. It looks so sterling flying up there. I thank our groundskeeper, Bob Williams, Landscaping and Maintenance from Wyoming, who has been doing an excellent job in keeping up with the grass, what there is of it. My thanks to the regionalized police departments for providing traffic control and safety. A special thanks to Jim Tregan and his crew from the Wyoming Borough Street Department. Our thanks to Boy Scout Troop 366 and their leaders for passing out the programs. There are several tables in the back of the tent I would like to point out. Both the Wyoming Monument Association and the Wyoming Commemorative Association are collecting dues. I would encourage you to support both groups if possible. Even if many of you are perpetual members, we ask that you become an annual member also. The expenses are growing faster than our income. I am sure you are wishing I would conclude, but I have one last story to share and will try to be brief. I announced at last year's event that the Wyoming Monument had been selected by the Pennsylvania Freemasonry and the America 250 PA Liberty Tree Project to be the recipient of a Liberty Tulip Tree, which is planted over there type, if you want to take a look at it. In October of last year, it seemed like a contingent of Masons showed up to plant the tree. They had absolutely everything necessary for the planting. While we all watched Scott Owens dig the hole, and we were all very good at that. Marion Zarnowski, our secretary and very knowledgeable historian, said, wouldn't it be incredible if we dug up some historical artifacts I swear to you, that very moment we heard a clunking sound, and Scott said, like this, and this is what he held up. A horseshoe. Have to be careful with that baby. One of Marion's fellow diggers had an associate who specializes in Civil War cavalry. He stated the horseshoe is unique and was probably used to correct the gait of a horse during the 1860 era. That is why the one end is bent. It was designed that way. I'm guessing the people in the area possibly said, "Oh, there goes poor old Chester with his gimpy horse. Wonder if he named him Speedo." On that note, lucky for you, I'm done. I think I saw one of those people that has the long poles with the hook on it when they used to, like during vaudeville, and they pull them off the stage when they talk too long. I think I saw one of those, so I decided I better get off now. So I say goodbye to all of you for this year. I wish you a wonderful summer. Stay cool, and I hope to see all of you next year. Thank you very much.